Hi, Facebook friends. So our office desk came in and I loved it. The only problem was that it's damaged. So I am outside on our back porch. If you hear an occasional cow moo, that's why. So I wanted to address the big fat elephant in the room because I've had a lot of friends ask me if I'm, quote, still mad at Jordan Peterson, or what I thought of Jordan's post, because after my last video, Jordan did post to his blog in response to the, I'm sure, massive blowback that he got from his Kavanaugh tweet. And he did catch a lot of heat from it. Caught a lot of heat from me, and rightly so. And so I'm not averse, like I said before, to hearing a reasoned opinion, or for someone to reason their way through a thought experiment. And so I read Jordan Peterson's post and analyzed it and wanted to give my response. The long and short is that I still stand exactly where I stood as of my last video. Jordan's reasoning, and the reasoning that I've actually heard from several people on the right, is essentially this: that in Kavanaugh stepping down, one of two things would happen. First of all, it would allow Brett Kavanaugh time to, quote, clear his name. And it wouldn't necessarily be a surrender. It would be him stepping down in order to decrease polarization and allow the FBI or whomever, even though there have been 7 inquiries by the FBI, to assess the allegations more fully, and the Republicans would still have that seat in order to fill, or have that seat so that Trump can make an appointment. The second thing would be that Kavanaugh steps down, clears his name, or doesn't clear his name, I guess. In the first instance, it would be that maybe perhaps he doesn't clear his name, or it doesn't move quickly enough. In the second instance, if his name isn't cleared, again, we would have an open seat, and President Trump could appoint whomever he sees most fit, and more than likely that would be Amy Coney Barrett. And then that would allow the left to more than likely do what they did to Kavanaugh. It was most assuredly a political attack and politically motivated, and that everyone would see the left for what they are. So that was the argument. And of course, he did detail the ways in which him stepping down would be counterproductive or not a good thing. I believe that, and I've given it quite some thought, but I believe that Jordan and those who are making this argument made the pivotal mistake of assuming that a side who is completely irrational could even be negotiated with. That was the fatal flaw. One fatal flaw. The second is that Jordan Peterson seems to be placing the idea of depolarization or peace above truth. And if there's anything that I've learned from Dr. Peterson himself, it's that compassion is not the ultimate virtue. Truth is the ultimate virtue. It is not up to Brett Kavanaugh to prove his innocence. It is up to his accusers to prove his guilt, or a preponderance of evidence, of which they failed to do. After like I said, 7 FBI inquiries and investigations, they were unable to do that. And so I'm having trouble at this point with this line of reasoning. People on the right, or even Jordan Peterson, trying to cling to an argument of depolarization. That takes for granted the plain truth that this is not the first time the left has done this. It's called borking for a reason. The SCOTUS nomination, Bork, stepped down. In that instance, the left won. And you don't feed a monster. And I think nothing could speak more clearly to that than, or disprove, Jordan Peterson and those making these assertions than what the left has done this week. I wish just once they would try to prove me. I really hate being this right all the time about them, because I know that my assumptions, or that my outlook on their behavior is never quite optimistic. But sometimes I just wish they'd try. Just try to prove me wrong once. They can't. Absolutely incapable. So ever since Kavanaugh's appointment, we have seen the left go from angry to absolute lunacy, banging on the walls of the Supreme Court as much as they can with their lack of, their vitamin deficiencies, because they're all vegan. Taking to the streets in Portland. Antifa has absolutely taken over Portland. The mayor's doing less than nothing to stop them. Dragging senior citizens from their vehicles because they refuse to follow. I don't know why. Can someone explain to me why Antifa thinks that they're the traffic police? They're setting themselves up in intersections and directing traffic. And an elderly gentleman made the decision, God forbid, not to go the direction that these masked civilians in black bloc were telling him to go, and they drug him out of his car and beat him in the street. Because that's a measured response, apparently now, for the left. And they just continue with this. They continue with this absolute untethered reaction. This absolute insanity. They're completely untethered to reality, these people. To make, and this is what it comes down to, is that when you live in a democratic republic, you have entered into a set of agreed upon rules. It's a mutually agreed arrangement. You enter into this game. If you choose not to be a participant, you can leave. You're free to leave anytime. But if you're a citizen of this country, then you've entered into a mutually agreed upon set of rules, and the game is set. If the outcome of said game ceases to appease you, you don't get to break the game. You don't get to smash the chessboard because you're no longer happy with the outcome. And Jordan Peterson made the assertion that in not contributing to depolarization, that by default, you are contributing to an increase in polarization, which is asinine. Sorry, I'm not questioning Jordan Peterson's intellect, because I think he knows exactly what he's doing, and I pray that he finds his way back. But if a side is so disconnected from reality, if they are so absolutely unreasonable that they would begin a civil war because they no longer approve of the outcome of said game, I feel absolutely no culpability in that. The same way I would feel absolutely no culpability should someone go firebomb a restaurant because they didn't like the way the food tasted. That's not how you operate in a democratic republic. You don't get to do it. And so I feel absolutely no culpability in that. When I found out today that in response to Antifa's attack on the Patriot Prayer Rally, and for those of you who don't know, the Patriot Prayer Rally is a group of citizens. They've been doing this for quite some time. They march through the designated areas of Portland. They have to have a permit in order to do so, praying, carrying their American flags. And when this initially was started, the leader of the prayer rally had zero security. And as time has borne witness, he absolutely needs some. And so the Proud Boys chapter of Portland volunteered to be his security, to be his muscle. And so this weekend, yesterday, the Patriot Prayer Rally commenced, as they've done many times, with their American flags, praying, Proud Boys in tow, and Antifa, these psychopaths, put a pin in that. Let me ask, I wonder if they ever ask themselves, as they're wearing black bloc and covering their face, I wonder if they ever ask themselves whether they're the bad guy. Like, I wonder if the brown shirts, the Nazis, ever looked at their skull pins and like wondered to themselves, maybe we're the bad guy. They're so delusional. I don't even think that they can compute that in their brains. But going back to the story, Antifa descends on the Patriot Prayer Rally, and the Proud Boys retaliate. They defend themselves. And you know what? The way I feel about it, more power to you. I am happy. If you lay a little soy-chugging son, probably of an English lit teacher, out for physically accosting innocent civilians as they quietly try to walk down the street with their American flags, do it. I'm a member, I'm not afraid to say it, of the Proud Boys girls, because I support those men. I support every single bit of it. The fraternal aspect, a group of men doing what men do. And one of the things, I'm very old school. Apparently, I found out I'm a gender traitor, according to Hillary Clinton. I'm very old school, is that men protect people. And if someone is physically accosting you in public, hey, I'm a Second Amendment girl. I carry. Someone's going to attack me. That's why I take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Come at me. The thing I hate, and I wish hadn't have happened, is that Antifa has been allowed to run roughshod through the city of Portland, attacking innocent civilians and macing people in the face. These are not reasonable or sane-minded people. These are sociopaths. Another way that the left has continued to prove Jordan Peterson and those who made this line of reasoning wrong, the way they've proved them wrong this week, is that Kanye West made a little visit to see Donald Trump at the White House, which I didn't think was that big of a deal, personally. I've never been a big fan of famous people, whether it be musicians or actors, inserting themselves into politics, but hey, it's a free country, whatever, do what you want to do. And I wasn't going to watch the footage of Kanye, simply because of that. I prefer to leave. Do you hear the gunshot? Yeah, we're in Arkansas. It's hunting season. I prefer to leave political opinions to those who have maybe studied it, have a little more expertise in the matter. That's just me. Not a big pop culture girl. However, when I saw the media's reaction to something as simple as Kanye going to the White House, holy, you would have thought there was like a Klan rally at the White House, the way these people were acting. And because of their reaction, I watched it. They're shooting themselves in the foot. Watched it, and I can honestly say that listening to Kanye, some of the stuff he said was just Kanye. You know, he's a wacky kind of guy. I mean, he just is. He's funny to listen to. But some of the things he said, as a conservative and a libertarian, a lot of my policy viewpoints I had not challenged, but including prison reform and things of that nature. But after having listened to Kanye and what he had to say, I'm beginning to rethink those things. I can accept that that there's a difference between rural Southern living and what happens with the Black community or people that Kanye was talking about who've been wrongly or maybe unduly sentenced, excessively sentenced. I can accept that difference could be there. And that's not something that I had really ever challenged myself to consider, because it's not a present question in my mind. It's not a present policy issue in my mind. But because I listened to Kanye, that's definitely something that I'm willing to reconsider. When I saw the response by the media to Kanye, these people called him racial slurs and epithets, the most vile language. They called him an Uncle Tom. They literally weaponized his dead mother. Said that Don Lemon made the comment that, or someone on his show made the comment that had Kanye's mom been alive, or how Kanye's mom was spinning in her grave right now, that she would be that disappointed or embarrassed by him because he went to talk to the president. When has this ever been an issue? How many people went to speak with a Barack Obama? If I remember correctly, it's not too long ago, and I do remember correctly, when Jay-Z and Beyonce went to the White House, they sat in the Oval Office. Snoop Dogg bragged about smoking weed at the White House. But Kanye going to visit Trump and giving him a hug, that was what set them off. The fact that he gave Trump a hug. I've not seen Democrats as the joke goes, this mad since Republicans freed the slaves. Seriously. And I hope that they continue. I hope they continue calling women gender traitors because we support due process, because we have husbands and sons, and we think the idea of due process historically has protected the people that the left purports to champion. Historically, due process has protected the Jewish community, has protected the Black community. Due process is the very backbone of our judicial system. It's what ensures that hollow allegations and accusations against someone don't land them in federal prison. Thank you, due process. I happen to think that's a good thing. Call me a gender traitor, but guess what? The fact of the matter is that women lie. And some women lie a hell of a lot more than others. So call me a gender traitor. Keep doing it, left. And do me a favor. Keep showing that you are racist to the core. Keep showing how disgusting and illiberal and regressive that you truly are. I hope they continue mobilizing into psychotic mobs that attack innocent civilians because everyone is seeing your true colors. And that is pure evil. And I won't apologize for that. Right now, there's the Democratic Party. And in case you don't know, let me just clue you in on the platform of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, and if we want to review a little bit of history, the Democratic Party was the party of Jim Crow, of segregation, of slavery. The Republican Party was formed by Abraham Lincoln in opposition to slavery. The Republican Party was the party of the Emancipation Proclamation. The Republican Party was the party of Abraham Lincoln and civil rights and Dr. King. The Republican Party has always been the party that stood against human rights violations and racism. The Democratic Party was the party of KKK. And they're showing themselves to have not changed very much. Because I don't care what color you are, when you go on not fringe media, not some random online source, when you go on mainstream media outlets and you call people like Kanye West the despicable, vile, racist names that you called him, you're disgusting and you're evil. The Democratic Party is the party stated platform: abortion up to the time that baby pops out. Unfettered, no restrictions. That's the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is the party of Margaret Sanger, who was a known racist and eugenicist who famously said, "We don't want people to know that we want to exterminate the Negro population." Yeah, that's what Planned Parenthood was formed on. It was formed on ridding the United States of the feeble-minded, which to Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, included the Black community. I wonder why there are so many Planned Parenthoods in urban areas. I wonder why Planned Parenthood has focused so heavily on those areas. Minority, high minority, low income, urban areas. We know who you are, Democrats. We know exactly who you are. And who you are has not changed. So keep showing yourself to be what you are. I love it. As conservatives and libertarians and people of every other label welcome individuals who want to be free to step outside the little tiny categories that you've placed for people, the little group identities, because you know what? Shame on you, Kanye West, for having your own opinion. Shame on you for straying from the narrative, being an individual, and saying something that doesn't go along with your skin color. This is the left. This is who they are. This is mainstream Democrats like Hillary Clinton saying there will be no civility until we return to power. This is mainstream Democrats like Maxine Waters saying when you see Republicans, get up in their faces and tell them they're not welcome. This is mainstream Democrat Cory I am Spartacus Booker saying get up in people's faces. This is Eric Holder, by the way, the only attorney general to ever be held in contempt of Congress under President Obama, President Barry's wingman, as Eric Holder called himself, saying, when they go low, we kick them. I'm a free speech absolutist. To me, freedom of speech should be unfettered, unless I am calling for imminent violence. For instance, if I were to say, there's somebody's truck, go throw a Molotov cocktail on it. Or if I were to yell, fire, in a crowded theater, those are the only restrictions. So am I going to blame Maxine Waters for what's happening in Portland? Am I going to blame Cory Booker for what happened at the Supreme Court? No. But I'm definitely going to blame him for the ratcheting up of political discourse in this country to the point that people are putting on masks and beating innocent civilians in the street. You're damn right I'm going to blame them for ratcheting up the temperature in this country because it's unneeded and it's uncalled for. You don't get to break the rules of the game. We've governed this country for 300 years the exact same way. And you know what? I welcome anyone that has a difference of opinion. I welcome anyone regardless of the color of your skin, your sexual identity, whether you're male or female, I don't give a damn. But when people tell you that you can only have a certain opinion because of those arbitrary characteristics, that's disgusting. Those are what we call ideologues. So thank you, Democrats. Thank you for proving Jordan Peterson and all of those who are brainless enough wrong. Thank you for proving them wrong. And I hope you keep proving them wrong. And unfortunately, you're probably just going to keep proving me right. And that's okay. We'll scoop up your voters, people that love freedom, people that love liberty, and people who are going to be told what to think because of what they look like. That's all I have. I stand exactly where I stood before on Jordan Peterson. I hope he comes back. I'll say a prayer for him. By the way, I got my shout out to the Unbearables, #Unbearables, my Owen Benjamin t-shirt today. Super excited about it. It looks badass. And to all you Unbearables who are watching me, I love you. And to everybody else, thank you so much for watching. And I'll talk to you really soon. Bye.